Mama Bear. If you're new, thanks so much for joining me today. We are gonna make macaroni and cheese, but in the microwave, and it turns out so good. You will be shocked. So, before we begin, let me ask young people, students, teenagers, have you asked your parents, can you cook in the kitchen? If they say yes, you can cook in the kitchen. So let's go. Let's get started. Okay, for today's ingredients, we're going to need 1 tablespoon of butter, a half of a teaspoon of cornstarch. We will also need about a couple tablespoons of milk. We'll need a couple tablespoons of mozzarella cheese, about 4 tablespoons of cheddar cheese, a little salt and pepper to taste. We'll need a half a cup of dry noodles. And then for our equipment, I have not a glass, but a liquid measuring cup, a regular mug to put the macaroni in, and then a medium-sized bowl to microwave the noodles in, a small bowl to mix up a mixture, and then I have the tablespoons, a half a teaspoon, a knife to cut the butter, and a mixing spoon. Okay, so first we're going to start with this dish, and we are going to put our water in here. So I have 2 cups of water already pre-measured in my liquid measuring cup. So I'm going to slowly pour this in so I don't spill. And then you're just going to put in your dry noodles. Now you'll see I have like the regular standard elbow noodles, but I ran out of those, so I had to use some of these what are these called, ziti. Oops, can you see that? I had to use some of these too, because that's how it goes. That's how it goes when you don't have everything you need. So I'm just going to pour the noodles right into the water, and then I'm going to microwave this for 9 minutes. And then when it comes out, we're ready to do the next step. Hopefully it is not too loud. I'm going to go on ahead and work on the stuff that's going to go inside of the noodles once they're done cooking. So I'm going to take my little tiny dish, and I'm going to take 2 tablespoons of milk. I'm trying not to make a mess. And then a half of a teaspoon of cornstarch. Cornstarch helps thicken things up, and I just want that cheese sauce to just be a little thicker than normal. So I'm scooping up a heaping amount, or that's much more than what I need, and I'm going to take the back side of my knife and just push off the extra, and I'm going to put that in my milk. And you'll notice the cornstarch kind of stays like right on top. Can you guys see that? Oh my gosh, my lighting. Okay, if I back up. Wait, do I need to cut the light off? Or dim? Okay, can you guys see that better? I don't know if you can see it, but the cornstarch is like floating on top. So I need to stir that in. So because this is the only thing I'm using the spoon for, I'm just going to stir in my cornstarch so it's kind of dissolved better. It's not just sitting on top. Okay, that looks pretty good. It still looks like milk. It's still got the consistency of milk, but when you add heat to cornstarch, it thickens things up. So this is ready to go. Next, I'm gonna get my cheese. This is my half a cup that I measured the noodles with. So now I'm gonna put the cheese in here. I'm gonna need 2 tablespoons of mozzarella cheese, and then 4 of the cheddar. So that's almost heaping, but not quite. Okay, so there's my 2 mozzarella. And now I'm going to do 4 cheddar. This bag always gives me issues. Okay, there we go. I always like to count out loud so I don't lose track where I'm at. Okay, so here's 1. 2, 3. I gotta mash it down to get that last scoop in here. Okay, 4. Awesome. Okay, my last thing that I need to do is I need to measure 1 tablespoon of butter. So I'm gonna find the 1 tablespoon line. You guys see that? See these lines on here? So I'm going to cut 1 tablespoon of my butter with my butter knife. It has cornstarch on it. And my butter is ready. So I'm gonna leave it right here on the wrapper. Okay, so as soon as the noodles are done, we will construct this. The microwave just beeps. We're gonna take it out. I am gonna put on an oven mitt and use a pot holder because it might get, it's probably really hot. I don't wanna burn myself and drop my noodles. Ooh. Okay, here's my noodles. They're steaming. Can you guys see that? Oh, there's a close-up. I forgot to say you're probably gonna need a slotted spoon because you don't want the water part at all. So you want to drain all that off. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna do something called the el dente test, and that is where you take a noodle. I'll take this little small one. Move this one out of the way. So you're gonna take a noodle. You're gonna bite it, and if it feels tender, then it's good. So normally noodles cook about 9 to 11 minutes. So this was 9 minutes. So I'm gonna bite this. Hopefully it's cool enough now. I'm not gonna burn my lips. That's good. Okay, now I'm gonna show you what I just bit. Oh my gosh, this is so tiny. Can you see that? So there is no white, crunchy, hard ring in the inside there, which means that noodle is done. So I'm gonna take my cute little pretty mug and I am going to scoop out all my noodles. And I'm using a slotted spoon so the excess water can drip off. And I'm just shaking this, oh my gosh. So I can get all the water out. If your noodle wasn't done, like let's say you use a bigger noodle or a thicker noodle, like the bow ties especially, they need more closer to like 11 minutes. So you would just leave it in the hot water, wait a couple minutes, and then do the al dente test again to make sure it's done. Now I'm shaking this because these noodles all have like a little tube, or they're tubular in shape, so water can get stuck inside the tube. So that's why I'm kind of like tilting my spoon back and forth to make sure all the water gets out of the noodle, because we don't need any we don't want watery cheese sauce. We want a thick and creamy cheese sauce. Oh, and I just wanted to mention the half a cup of noodle that we used that was dry, it doubles in size. So now your serving size will be about 1 cup of noodles done. Okay, so I am all done with my hot water and scooping that out. Okay, so now we have my noodles in a cup, and now we're gonna add our butter. That's been sitting out so it's room temperature, so it's soft. So I'm gonna take my spoon, you see how soft it is? I mean, kind of soft. And you're gonna put this in here. Since the noodles are hot, you can just stir it around and the butter will naturally just melt in the with the noodles. So while that is melting, or I'm stirring this around with the hot noodles, then the next thing I'm gonna add is my milk and cornstarch mixture, and I'm gonna pour this in. And this is gonna thicken up in here. So what I'm gonna do is microwave this 30 seconds. And then we're ready to add cheese, and it should be ready to eat. Okay, we're ready for our last few steps. I'm gonna stir my noodles up one more time to make sure that the butter is all melted, and I can see the milk and cornstarch is kind of thick. Can you guys see that? How it's like dripping off, and there's not even cheese in it yet. Wait till we get the cheese in here. Okay, so I'm gonna pour in, this is all my cheddar and my mozzarella. And I am going to mix this down into the cup and stir it around. And we're gonna microwave it just one more time to get that cheese to melt a little bit more. Even though the heat of the noodles is really melting this cheese already, but the microwave will help it melt even more. Okay, now a lot of cheese is stuck on my spoon. So I'll take my slotted spoon. I just want all the cheese in the cup melting. So we'll microwave for 30 more seconds and then we'll see what it looks like. It's done. So I'm gonna put on my oven mitt just one more time because my mug might be hot. Oh, okay, wait. Can you guys see the cheesy goodness in there? Ooh. Okay, so I'm gonna stir it up just one more time. And now you have cheesy, ooey gooey noodles. Oh, that looks so good. Yes. So thanks everyone for joining me today. Can I dip down here? Thanks so much for joining me today. Don't forget. Oh, I forgot to say one thing. You probably want to put some salt and pepper on it to give it some more flavor. Normally people would use white pepper so that it doesn't look like there's black like specks or dirt in there, but I don't have any white pepper. So I would use some just regular black pepper, and because these are grinders, I would just like grind it twice, 2 for the black pepper and 2 for the salt, and then eat it and then see if it's to my liking, and then I can always add more if I like. So don't forget, stay and look while you cook.